Hey, welcome to day 46 of my spiritual journal with me, with your soul sister, Iona, host of the SoulLegacyTV YouTube podcast, founder of the Soul Legacy Academy, and producer of the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network. So welcome. Today is, I've got my green t-shirt on, it's Environmental Freedom Thursday. So that is what I'm going to be talking about. That is what I am being journaling about for spiritual business success, really. Online, building your spiritual business online as a light worker, as an author, speaker, coach, trainer, and the kind of environments that you want to actually be in and put your soul work in. And I like to think of growing my spiritual business on YouTube. I love the platform, but also using, as we build our spiritual businesses online, we're using different platforms, right? So thinking about the platform that you want to use, thinking about the social media platforms that you want to use. I'll share a little bit about that for me, and where I see myself going with my vision for my spiritual business. And it's not on all of the socials and not on all of the platforms. So let me know where that is for you. So environmental freedom is having that freedom for your light work and your lifestyle. And that's what I want to journal about, because I don't think that we necessarily pay enough attention or consistently decide actually where I want to actually build my spiritual business and how I want to build my spiritual business, the environment that we are in as people. And people often say that, hey Robin, people often say that our business is kind of an extension of us. So wherever we are, however we move throughout our day, the environments that we're in, whether it's at our home and we're working from home, but we're putting our business online. So I'm sat in my living room at home. How you do your soul work in the world, as you put it online, as you choose to, whatever social media platforms and the conversations, the people that you are vibing with, having conversations with, I think that's really important. So in this spiritual journal with me, I want to talk about that as an environment and the vision that you have. But one of the things that I had was the vision to build my spiritual business online. And the reason is because I wanted to travel while I teach, right? I wanted to have that flexibility. People say that location independent business, and I think that's one of the most beautiful things, that you can give yourself that level of freedom. Where you're doing your light work is entirely up to you, whether you've got a job. I say soul sucking day job, it doesn't have to feel soul sucking, but to me it did. And so I really love building my spiritual business and having that spiritual business success on my own terms, and balancing my light work and my lifestyle so that I wasn't broke, or I didn't buy into that being broke, didn't buy into being busy, and definitely not buying into being burnt out while I build my spiritual business. So that is what we are going to be journaling about. And we have the beautiful Robin Nutt saying, hey, beautiful soul sister. Thank you, Robin. So Robin, if you are new to me and new to the Soul Legacy TV YouTube podcast, then Robin Nutt is our lead soul guided instructor for the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network, for light workers who want to grow their spiritual business and use YouTube as a platform, as an environment for learning and educating and enrolling students into their online teaching platform is what I teach. And Robin is the host of the Energy Healing TV and podcast. And so Robin says, hey, beautiful soul sister. So Robin has a 5-day money blocks clearing challenge. She calls it a self-love journey to financial freedom for empaths and light workers, which is beautiful, which ties into purpose of this spiritual journal with me daily vlog, is because I wanted to have that financial freedom, but I also wanted to make sure that I was loving myself along the journey, not just going after the money, right? Because that doesn't resonate. And lots of people do it and then it doesn't work and they go, oh, okay, then it feels quite empty. And then not just going like, oh, I love myself, I'm broke. Like having the balance of in between as a spiritual business owner, depending on what success feels like to you or what that looks like to you. For me, it goes hand in hand. There is no, Robin says, thank you, love. You're welcome, beautiful. There is no When I went to a seminar in London called the Millionaire Mind Intensive by a guy called T. Harv Eker, if you're familiar with him, I remember making a decision, excuse me, I believe it was 9 years ago. It was 9 years in September, so 8.5 years ago, saying I'm okay with having both. I'm okay with having my purpose and okay with having money. And I said, when I figured this out, I will share it far, wide, and deep, because I feel like that's one of the biggest challenges for us as light workers, as soul-based business owners, to figure out the environment that we want to be in, and to figure out how that makes us comfortable enough to do our light work and brave enough to do our light work, being visible on camera as you grow your spiritual YouTube channel. That's the environment where you have, if that's the way that you want to go, then being comfortable with speaking on camera, speaking your truth, and growing that. If you're not envisioning yourself doing that, but you're saying, you know, I want to be online and I want to do this and I want to do that, then if there's a mismatch in your energy, then it becomes a problem and your growth becomes stilted. So I want to talk about that. And that is what I journal about in my spiritual journal on a Thursday, for environment, not only for my light work, but for my lifestyle. So I wanted to have my spiritual business support my lifestyle and my lifestyle support my spiritual business. And so me journaling every single day and then sharing with you what I'm journaling about is beautiful for me. It's just that integrated in that natural thing. So I can, whatever environment that I'm in, I used to do my daily lives and walking. I don't do that now, not currently anyway, but wherever I am, whatever environment I'm in, I can do my light work in the world. Are you in that position? I actually, it's most recently, up until now, I didn't realize I have my Mac, and it was a desktop, which I love. It was massive, and it conked out on me a few weeks ago, couple months ago, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then I was deciding whether to get a laptop or whether to get another desktop. I'm like, duh, you want to travel while you teach. So in essence, I was working in my office unless I was on my phone, doing my lives, walking. And I realized that for like 7 years or something, I was using my Mac in my office, which was restricting the environment. So I wanted to travel while I teach. And at some point, I would have to get another laptop. I'd had a laptop before that. And I'm like, oh, duh, the universe, it literally burnt out and died on me when I did not expect it. Like, I was so proud of myself because I didn't actually go on a meltdown. What I did was retreat to myself and like trying to find a solution to come up with. And when I got my laptop, manifested that, which was beautiful. Then I had to recreate the environment on my laptop for my light work, which took a little minute. So I like to be organized in my environment. And I like to duplicate things in my environment. I like to leverage. And because I'm organized and because I do my spiritual rituals and routines, it was an easier transition for me. So what are you doing in your environment? Are you enjoying your environment that you're working in? Are you enjoying your environment that you're living in? I have a 7-day spiritual vision board challenge, talking about your environmental freedom, how you want your light work and lifestyle to look and feel over this next year, from the 12 months from the time that you do it. I do it live every December, and I look out through the year, and then I reverse engineer the process of, yes, I want to travel while I teach, but each and every single day I want to experience a level of freedom. So I say environmental freedom right now. At the time of going live on this daily vlog, it's April 2022. So the weather is getting warmer. I've been out doing my works in the middle of my day. My light work is less of that I've got to work at 24/7, right? Like, you know, when you first start out, it's like, I've got to work 24/7, I've got to do this, got to do that, and not actually taking care of yourself, taking care of your body, taking care of your mind. You know, when things kind of just go by the wayside, your health, all the things. And if you can hear any kind of music or any kind of singing, I don't know if you can hear that, Robin, I don't know if you can hear that. I have my daughter, my soul daughter, and her friend in this environment, in my daughter's bedroom. She's got a massive TV. I don't watch TV. I don't have a TV in this living room. And they were singing Alicia Keys. After I came off your challenge, Robin, they were like, come and judge us, come and, judge, see who was, and obviously you can't really be harsh. I'm kind of a tough love person, but I'm like, okay, you're all doing great, you're all doing, they're like, which one? I'm like, you did great for this, and my daughter's 19. They are having a whale of a time. I don't believe that the neighbours will probably appreciate that. Again, I used to own my own home with my ex-husband before I moved here, before I was homeless. We had a messy divorce. All of those things affect you, right? But it was a detached home, so we were not as bothered, and we owned it. Right now I'm renting. My dream home, my dream environment is a barn conversion, which will have fields around us and no adjoining neighbours. So she's kind of just enjoying that. But yeah, we know the neighbours and stuff, so hopefully they'll be very forgiving. I did say close the door, but even that, I'm down here essentially working, right, sharing a live. It doesn't ever feel like working, and my daughter is just enjoying herself with her friends. You know what I mean? That sometimes not everybody even has that level of freedom. Sometimes we take those things for granted even. So Robin said, I haven't heard anything, thank goodness. Robin says, LOL, tell them to sing louder. I can't hear you yet. No, I won't do that. They are singing very loud, which is funny. They're like, I said, I'm going to go live. So for your live, Robin, they're used to me working at home. So do you have people around you that are used to you working at home if you work from home? And being quiet, or like, being considerate when you work at home. Just about everybody was working or doing like homeschooling in the pandemic, and so the dynamics of the household changed. I was used to that. I homeschooled my daughter and stuff, but just being in those environments where you can just be yourself. So I'm not going to tell her to sing louder, but I want her to feel like she's got that freedom to be loud and sing and be joyful. You kind of like, shh, you mustn't make a noise for the neighbours. Shh, you can't do, So they said, do we have to be quiet for your live? And I said, I could be on mute. And then I said, I'm going live now. It's like, do we have to be quiet? I said, you don't have to do. No, just please don't come in the living room, which I don't think they will, but they might anyway. But yeah, it's like, no, you don't have to do anything. If you can hear it on the live, you can hear it on the live. So I think it's beautiful. So my spiritual journal and my rituals and my routines for my spiritual business. Right now, I don't even know I can't look on my phone. I think it's something like maybe 8:30 at night. So, it's not like I'm working through the day all of the time. I choose times to work overseas to reach, so Robin's in the States, so to reach people globally. So I don't work conventional hours. So I'm not going to say it's 8 o'clock at night. Now you have to be quiet, I'm working, because it kind of, do you know what I mean? Robin says, oops. Absolutely, it's great that she can be free and have fun at home. Yeah, 100%. That's really important to me. That's one of my biggest values as I do my spiritual journal, which I'll talk about it more, is living in alignment with my values and, having my family. That comes first. So it comes before my work. Although I've made sacrifices in my family for my work, don't get me wrong. Like, when you need to build it, you need to build it. When you need to be quiet, you need to be quiet. And she's known that since she was 5, right? She used to sit on my knee when I first started out. So May's 19 now, so that's a long time. However, sometimes it can be like the whole family is miserable because you're trying to build a business, and everybody's got to be quiet, everybody's got to take it really seriously, everybody's got to, and it's not fun. It's not fun for everyone when that happens. Robin says 333 here. Yay. Boom. Awesome. So yeah, I digress, but not really, because that's that light work and lifestyle balance that I'm talking about. Like, just having that freedom of when I'm going to go live. I don't have a set time to go live. I might go live in the morning. I might go live, as long as I've made the commitment, excuse me, to go live every single day. I think it was last Saturday, I fell asleep and I was like, okay, Sunday I'll do 2 lives. You know what I mean? It's that freedom to choose. So do you have the freedom to work from home, work from where you want to. Are you giving yourself permission to do that? I know, Robin, you've got recently manifested your laptop, and you showed me your office space, which was outdoors, which is very different if you've got a desktop. Do you know what I mean? So having that freedom is just a beautiful thing. So as part of this Soul Legacy Journal and spiritual journaling with me and my daily vlog, this is the Soul Legacy Journal. As the founder of the Soul Legacy Academy, I thought it quite fitting to have a Soul Legacy Journal. And obviously, as a Soul Legacy TV, everything I say has soul in it. So this is 365 days of your spiritual awakening story. So yours, mine, as a collective. If you're here in this space with me, is a collective energy. And I say a co-created soul path to spiritual alchemy for light workers. And so if you've ever been through a spiritual awakening, then I don't know about you, but my environment's changed, and how I felt about my environments, how I felt about who was in my environment. I mentioned, being homeless, because I went for a messy divorce, and lots of stuff happened, meaning finances and contribution, and like it wasn't even in the level of contribution that it didn't have to go to repossession. There just wasn't that mutual agreement. Could have absolutely, but that changed, and then we were homeless. I was homeless with my daughter for 6 months in a room, in a bed, and then I didn't have my son with me. He lived with my dad. First, he lived with a friend, then he lived with my dad. So that self-love that Robin's talking about on the 5-day money blocks clearing challenge, and this whole journey for me, what I share on the Soul Legacy TV, is about intentional living and about raising your vibration. And I call it a cheers to financial freedom frequency, because when you don't have that financial freedom, or you're not contributing in the world to the way that you want to have that financial freedom, then your environment gets impacted, relationships get impacted, your health gets impacted, your mental health, your emotional health, all the physical health, your emotions, all of those things are impacted. All of the areas that I talk about for that light work and lifestyle balance, every single day I dedicate a day format to my life, and I encourage you to do the same if you choose to. This is environmental freedom, and just noting how connected they are. The decisions that I made for my light work and my lifestyle impacted my environment. So when I wasn't receiving the money to take care of everything, or like I was relying on my ex-husband for a period of time through circumstances, so things collapse and then you just rebuild them. I ended up homeless, and I ended up bankrupt, and all the things, and all of that is contrast that I teach from. I don't have a fear of like a rock bottom, like I've been to a rock bottom, and when you go to a rock bottom, you bounce up. So, do you have any fears about your home going, covering the bills, all of the things, covering your business expenses, all of those things? It really does matter, the choices that you make, and raising your vibration and just being aware and noting down how you feel when you're in your environment. There's environments that I've been in. Even when I was homeless, I was listening to my own material, this prosperity consciousness series that I have now, and I'm sharing in the Soul Legacy Academy, because that's what got me through, moving from that poverty consciousness to a prosperity consciousness. Robin says, yes, it was amazing to have the freedom to sit outside and work. Awesome. All right, so with the Soul Legacy Journal, I talk about environmental freedom every single day. I talk about your vision. So I kind of covered that, like asking you about your vision, asking you about your values. What do you value, right? And what's your vibration around in your environment, in your close proximity, in your neighborhood where you are. I've worked with a lot of people all over the world, and our environments are different. And some environments are safer than others, or feel safer, feel freer, feel more expansive. Do you have a vision to change your environment? Do you have a vision to travel now that the world is opening up, obviously? And I think nearly every student that I've ever worked with or spoken to, or soul client, wants to have a retreat. for their spiritual business, and you know, can envision that having a retreat, working online but working offline and with a retreat. And one of the things that I say is having that online business to support the offline, because we know what happened with the environment shifting in the lockdown and the pandemic. All of the stuff offline, just complete events business, retreat business, everything stopping. So the beautiful thing to build your spiritual business online is that it can always be going. And there's been a massive growth of pandemic entrepreneurs, it's said, because people realize, actually, I don't want to work in this job, or that I can do my job from home. People have had different experiences of where they want to work. So those values and their vibration has changed, right? So when I do my Soul Legacy journal, and if you're new to me, I talk about contribution freedom on a Monday, health freedom on a Tuesday, emotional freedom on Wednesday. This is environmental freedom Thursday, relationship freedom on a Friday, spiritual freedom on a Saturday, and financial freedom on a Sunday. All that together makes up intentional living for me. And so every single day I'll use my gratitude stone that my daughter gave me years and years and years ago. I can hear them singing. They were singing Alicia Keys, This Girl's on Fire, you can imagine. I say gratitude as part of my spiritual rituals and routines since going through my awakening and just realizing I'm a soul having a human experience. I express that gratitude. And when I first heard about gratitude and the gratitude stone was on The Secret movie, and that movie just hit a lot of people, like, and transformed a lot of people's lives. There's been a lot of backlash to the movie since, like, oh, you know, with the law of attraction. Robin and I were having a conversation about it today. And the reason why I focus on raising your vibration every single day and rating your vibration and being grateful for all of the areas that I've just mentioned is because it's the vibration underneath the law of attraction, which is missed. The late Bob Proctor talks about this a lot, is that, and that's where I learned it from, the law of vibration, how you feel. Everything is energy. So rather than like, I'm attracting, things are going to smack me in the head, things are going to come into my house and fall into my house or whatever, it's emitting that vibration. And not the vibration like I'm going to get, just the vibration of being joyful and vibrating at the higher frequency of love and freedom and knowledge and empowerment, and just sitting in that space as much as possible until you experience contrast, like I did. You know, being homeless and being bankrupt, that's massive contrast with, you know, dragging your kids along. But it was okay because it gave me rockets of desire to move into a different space. Robin says more travel ideas coming in. Really? Yeah, traveling while you teach is beautiful. So that's gratitude. So I don't know if you have something in mind that you want to be express that gratitude for. Simple things. You could focus on your environmental freedom. Today I went out for a walk with my soul daughter. We did 6 miles today, or I did 6 miles. She did a little bit less because I walked to her first. But just being really grateful, like the things that I'd see along my path, or the fact that she came with me because she doesn't usually, and it was her day off, and it happens to be my daughter's day off, which she doesn't often get a day off in the week like that. So they both had the same day off, which I don't think they have for a little while. So I'm happy and grateful that they get to experience that. That is why I'm like, you know what, go for it. Actually, I might have to go off the live in a minute, but I'm like, yeah, go for it. So that's just, it's beautiful. So when they start singing, can you hear them? So today I've listened every single day on the Soul Legacy TV as part of my spiritual rituals and routines, this Soul Legacy journal. I listen to an audible book, or I read a book. Usually I'll listen to one on my walk. I didn't today because Ellie came with me. This is a book called What Happened to You? And so often it's by Oprah Winfrey and a guy called Bruce Perry. And so Oprah Winfrey, you heard them, I can hear them now. Oprah, and you can't shout either, like, be quiet, because that just is like crazy. So if I end the live, it's for that. So I've gone again. I think somebody probably went to the room. So What Happened to You is a book by Oprah Winfrey. She co-authored it. The purpose of the book is to give the message of, like, instead of saying what's wrong with you, say you're not manifesting the environment that you want to because you don't have the level of financial freedom, then, or you're in an environment where you're in a relationship that you don't necessarily want to be in, or whatever it is, right? There's things that happen to you. Like, sometimes you might think, oh, well, what's wrong with me? Why can't I break this cycle? Why can't I experience something different? Why can't I this, and this? And what's wrong with me? And they say, as soon as you look at what happened to you, you can see the patterns of trauma and the triggers of why you are where you are, and why you've not manifested what you say that you want to manifest, because you might not be vibrating at that frequency. And Robin helps you to clear out the energetic blocks and the traumas and the triggers and balance your chakras, and using Reiki and all alignment. I don't do that. I can help you get clear on your vision, and I can help you take the steps. But sometimes if we're not taking those steps in alignment, and we're not enjoying the journey, and we're beating ourselves up, it's not really fun. That's not what that's not what I teach anyway. It's not how I live. It doesn't feel like ease, grace and flow. When you understand that the brain, our brain, this is what this Bruce Perry is trained in, looking at the brain and the experiences. And the part that I listened to today, I didn't listen to much because I was on Robin's challenge. He used an example of a little boy and a little girl. He used a couple of examples, but the first one was that blew Oprah Winfrey's mind. She must have had these children on her show, and a little boy and a little girl who had experienced their parents getting a divorce, and they both had taken it differently. The little girl was angry. She's like, you are not supposed to have a boyfriend when you are married. She was angry at her mum. So obviously the story that she's heard and the things what happened to her can play out in her life. The little boy had said that he sounded a lot older. He was 4 when his mum left, but he said that he wanted to buy her a ring, his mum a ring, and if he bought her the ring, maybe that she would come back to that environment. So the environment that you have been, what happened to you when you were growing up, plays out, right? Those patterns. And Bruce Perry was saying about the response, the fight or flight response in you, the things that happen, the relationships, the new relationships that we bring into our children's life, even if it's something that is going to be good for them, we still internalize these things when we can't express the language. So all the things that happen to us affect us in our brain, whether we can communicate that at the time or not. And so when you are having these patterns, whatever they are, that don't seem to be broken, just be gentle on yourself. So depending on what I would have experienced when I was younger, like, be quiet, is whether I want to then go and tell my daughter and my soul daughter and a friend, I said, because we can pass those on, or we can sit in that space and we can see, actually, I want to choose a different way because I'm working. Like, everybody's got to be quiet. Everybody's got to, do you know what I mean? So what happened to you, who you're being, matters. It matters the choices that you make, and it matters what you pass down when children experience divorce. I've been divorced. It impacts them. That was just one example. Another example was a little boy that was in the educational environment at school, and he'd been in an abusive, physically abused by his dad, and the teacher was triggering him, but they couldn't see a logical reason why, and the boy was like ashamed of his behavior for lashing out and stuff, and the teacher just disconnected from him. So it's like, what's wrong with him rather than what happened to him. And it turned out that the teacher wore the same cologne as his dad, and he'd lashed out. So those triggers, that environment, there was all the trauma. And it doesn't just stop when I'm using examples of children because that's what they use, but it's what happened to us as children that we play out. Hopefully that makes sense. So reading as part of my spiritual rituals and routines, I'm just fueling my mind, so I can do better, so I know better, right? As a spiritual business owner, as a light worker, we're here to bring the light in our lifestyle and our light work. And I just don't now see mine as separate. Who I'm being on camera, who I'm being here, needs to be the version of Iona where I am everywhere. right? And so you get all of me. What you see is what you get, and sometimes we don't. We feel like we have to hide those traumas or hide those triggers or hide the stories, hide that I was divorced, hide that I was homeless, hide that I was bankrupt. And I'm like, no, that fuels my work. That gave me enough contrast and enough gold to say, okay, I want to do better this time. Robin says, yes, what happened to us, not what's wrong with us. Much different energy between the two. Yeah, it's a really beautiful book. I actually heard of it through Jay Shetty. He was doing an interview, I believe, and as soon as I saw it on YouTube, I was like, I gotta get that book. So I listened to it. So Environmental Freedom Thursday, it is chakra crystal. So Robin does talks about chakras on the Energy Healing TV and podcast. And today is Heart Healing Thursday, I believe, right, Robin? Heart Healing Thursday. And the chakra crystal, I bought some chakra crystals today for me anyway. It's rose quartz. I haven't done my meditation. I didn't do my meditation this morning because I was talking to my soul daughter, and I was talking to her. I knew it was going to be a long conversation, so I was like, okay, well, that's not going to be right now. So instead of being impatient or what have you, like, I'm like, okay, I got dressed and I was going on a walk. And she's like, you're going on a walk? And I'm like, yeah. I figured that I'd be talking to you for a while because we're Northern and that's just what we do. And she's like, well, you should have said, because I'll come out on a walk with you. And that's how we ended up going out on a walk. But that heart healing, so she had conversations and that heart healing. And I feel like what happened to you doesn't just mean what happened to you when you were young. It's what's happening to you also now is, and not being able to release it or deal with it or express it, or if you express it, there's that, as Robin says, blame, guilt and shame. And I am learning even more to be that role model, by choice and by her choice. And she said to me today, she said, you're a real role model for me. And I'm like, I was just like, I'm so teary. I'm so like, oh, I get emotional. It means a lot to me. And, I didn't have to sit with her in the house or we went on a walk and we went and we had conversations. It's beautiful in the middle of my day, which would be a work day. And when you're working for someone else and you're on somebody else's time, you might not have that freedom. So this is Environmental Freedom Thursday. So I had the freedom. That's what I wanted. That's what I envisioned when I was homeless, when I was bankrupt, when I was trying to build my business, when I tried to figure this out. And I said, when I figure it out, I'll share it far wide indeed. And I wanted to have that level of freedom to be able to choose the hours in my day. A lot of people say to me, I don't have the time. And I'm like, dude, we have to make time or choose how we spend our time. I'm not saying we don't have commitments. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying that just choosing how we spend our time. I could have said, no, I'm putting work. That's not my value. Is very big value, but it's like families. And I know that people that work with me value family. Sometimes we say it and we don't actually do it. And I'm loving this spiritual journaling process because it's helping me see tomorrow's Relationship Freedom Friday. So I'll probably talk about it a little bit more. But Robin says, yes, Heart Healing Thursday. And that's it. Matters of the heart. Sometimes those conversations come first. So Robin says, that is beautiful. The time, the love, energy you share. Thank you. They're my girls. So, it's a given. I didn't necessarily get that. I don't remember getting that. I don't have that kind of relationship with my mum. And what happened to you or didn't happen to you sometimes is, are you going to use that to fuel and continue the cycle, or are you going to be that person that leaves that legacy in a different way? So Robin says family first 100%, and it is for me. That's what I teach on the Soul Legacy TV. Is about launching, leading and leaving our soul legacy. So when I think of my soul legacy, that for me it's not necessarily, and people that come to me as well that work with me say that it's not always blood family because they don't feel like they're aligned always with their blood family. As light workers, sometimes we feel that, right? And there's no blame, guilt, shame in that, and we feel very different. However, I believe that we have that soul group and that soul sisterhood and that soulmates and soul relationships and all of the things. And I choose my family as well as, and I chose my blood family too. And you know, I've got a beautiful family. I've got a really, I'm the youngest of seven. One of my big brothers passed, right? And so it's who you decide is your family as well as your blood family. That's when I talk about soul clients and soul, your soul family and your soul tribe. Everything for me has soul in it. It just does, because I believe in that soul to soul connection. So that energy is always that soulful connection. That's that having that soul sitting back. I talk about this a lot, and I'll talk about it on spiritual freedom. Having that soul awareness rather than being pushed and pulled by what appears in the human, in the physical, which you pay attention to the physical in your environment, but not allowing that environment, like not allowing. It's such a beautiful ease, grace, and flow is just so beautiful. I'm hoping that you're inspired to notice if you have that ease, grace, and flow. If you're committed to having that ease, grace, and flow, as doing the spiritual journal and spiritual rituals and routines, that's what spiritual business success looks like for me. It doesn't look like going out and being on the socials and posting here and posting there and pretending my life's a whatever it is. Robin says, true, sometimes it's what didn't happen. Yeah. Robin says, speaking of family, I've got to go get Miss Mel. Yay, love you bunches, love you beautiful. So for those of you who don't know, Miss Mel is Robin's granddaughter, and that's exactly that. It's that legacy. It's beautiful. So chakra healing, heart healing, on a Thursday in Robin's world, in our world actually, which is beautiful. And the rose quartz crystal, I want to share. I'm going to actually read a card and wrap up with a card in just a second. This is a quote that I read from my Momentum app every single day. It's by Henry Ford. It says, one of the greatest discoveries a person makes is to find that they can do what they were afraid they could not do, or they couldn't do, it says. One of the greatest discoveries a person makes is to find out what they can do, that what they were afraid they could not do. So building a spiritual business online, being on YouTube, and you know, doing this whole journaling process. I have my book launch videos, which is, it will be a free chapter of my book. It's called Spiritual YouTubers from Scratch, a soul guided influence compass to leverage your light work and your lifestyle on YouTube. You might feel like, I can't do that. I can't grow my spiritual business on YouTube, or I don't know how to build a business online. I don't have clarity on it. I don't know what I talk about. I teach all of that. I have a masterclass called the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Masterclass. You're welcome to come to that. It's all online. I'm here in the UK. I work with people all over the world, different time zones, and it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. I have homework for that. It's called the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Masterclass Bank 50k in 50 days challenge. And the reason why I wanted to bank 50k in 50 days, because I set my big money goal, and my big money goal was to earn 50k months, right? And so the bank 50k in 50 days was just like a really nice way to explain it and to have that vibration, that trying on of the energy of, I call it the Cheers to Financial Freedom frequency. So today I rate my environment every single day as part of my spiritual rituals and routines, and the level of success that I experience on a daily basis. So today my environmental freedom rating was an 11. So you get to rate yourself between a 1 and 11 every single day. How in alignment you feel, how guided you feel, and if you're allowing that in your life. Part of this Soul Legacy Journal, before I read the card for you for today, is this Soul Legacy Journal gives you $1,000, pounds, or euros every single day. It's magical. As I said, I was homeless, I was bankrupt, and I wanted to feel the energy of going from a poverty consciousness to a prosperity consciousness. And I'll talk more about this on Sunday, because I haven't talked about it for a little bit. But your finances, there's a program in the UK called Rich House, Poor House. And that it's a program where two households, a rich house, poor house, meaning the top 10%, 10% earners, and the lower 10% swap environments, swap homes, and see how the other half live, right? So I liken to think that when we play the soul income game, you're trying on the life that you want to envision, whether it's a different home or an upgrade of your home. But these two houses that are in the wealth divide in Britain, in England, they're often not that far apart in distance. They're often like, so when I go on my walks, there's big houses, big barns. My dream home, my environment is a barn conversion. And so when me in that environment, I'd imagine that with the 50k months and that this and this, and it will all come easy. I'm building a container and the back end of my spiritual business where I'm okay with that. I don't have to work really hard. I don't have to, you can go and sign up to my 5-day YouTube from scratch challenge. You can go sign up for my 12-week boot camp. All of the things, you can come and work with me. You can come on my VIP days, all of the things. I work one to many. That was the environment that I wanted to work in, or passive income streams, and active income streams with my mastermind. And I said when I figured this out, I would share it far, wide, and deep. So this rich house and poor house, once you go from, I don't think you can get poorer than homeless, right? Once you go from that, I had to envision myself from the homeless place to my barn conversion, and then come the version of me that built up my credit rating, that built up my business, my spiritual business, that allowed myself to move from a poverty consciousness to a prosperity consciousness. And so this Soul Legacy Journal is my way of sharing with you to try that on. What would you be doing in if you were in the rich house, if you're in the poor house now? So they swap homes and they experience the lifestyle, they experience the food that they eat, the hobbies, the health, the level of health, the thinking, the thoughts, the feelings, as Robin talks about on her 5-day money blocks clearing challenge, your money stories and your feelings and the actions, your habits, all of that stuff. It's really beautiful. I'll talk about it more on Financial Freedom Sunday if I remember. But this Soul Legacy Journal gives you £1,000, dollars, or euros every single day for you to spend. You tithe 10% to a worthy cause. I tithe 10% to Cruise Bereavement Care. I dedicate my soul work to my son who made his transition almost 7 years ago now, at the age of almost 20, 12 days before his 20th birthday. And so I tithe. You don't get to save the money. You don't get to pay the bills, because I want you to come from the vibration that your bills are already taken care of, and you get to spend this money. So if you do the spiritual vision board challenge, the 7-day challenge that I have, it'll be in the cards and in the description, or in the cards and in the description. This will make more sense, but just to spend your vibrational money and then come to the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Masterclass and actually try on creating a business model that will actually get you there, from that poor house to that rich house. That's my goal, to help with my Soul Legacy movement, to help you, if this is you, and to help spiritual business owners, light workers, to move from that broke, busy, burnt out, lower 10% to the top 10%. That is my goal. That is my transition. That is my journey. And it's just been a really beautiful one. So that's the Soul Legacy Journal with the vibrational money voucher. I believe that is it. And so I will leave you with this card. It's from Keepers of the Light, from a guy called Kyle Gray. He's a Hay House author. And this, I don't get to pronounce these names. It's called Melchizedek. It's higher learning. I don't know if you can see that really clearly or not. Hang on. Can you see that? It's quite bright. Melchizedek, or Melchizedek. I don't know. But he is a high priest who is mentioned in the Bible's book of Genesis and many other sources too. He is here to assist the earth through the ascension process, which is basically moving everyone and everything back to the state of love and harmony. That will just resonate with Robin so much. And that frequency of love, right, being love and harmony.
He appears with bright light around him and a long white beard to match his ancient high priest ways, and is said to have his order of light-filled priests who are able to help spiritual people develop their gifts and qualities. That's lovely. As he works on a high energetic level, we can connect with him through sacred geometry and by focusing on ancient star shape symbols. Extended message: you have learned so much to this point and you are learning more every day. You are recognizing all the great lessons your experiences, challenges have brought to you, and you are preparing for a transition or inner ascension where you will move beyond another level of fear and into the inner sanctum of your heart and soul. So it's heart healing. Heart healing Thursdays. Oh, I love it. Become aware of patterns, ancient symbols and signs being sent to you from the universe. There's a sense that you are now able to focus in a new way and offer great light to the world. Melchizedek and his order are with you now, leading you towards spiritual wisdom. Meditate and connect with their light. I love that. And I have started to include meditation in my daily practice, and I'm not even gonna lie, I'm still integrating that into the daily. Like I said, I didn't end up doing my meditation this morning because I had my soul daughter ring me, and that's not the first time that I've missed it. In the last few weeks I've really been focusing, but I've done it more than I haven't done it. And I'd said, you know, I'm in this state of ease, grace and flow anyway, which is the purpose of the meditation. So I am someone that likes to, I download in the night, so when I wake up it's like get my soul work done. And so integrating the meditation in the morning has slowed down my soul work. So I'm like, okay, let me do my soul work, then I'll come back to do the morning meditation, blah blah blah. So that's the way that I'm learning that it's best for me. So that is it for Environmental Freedom Thursday. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode of Soul Legacy TV. I've enjoyed spending time with you. It's late in the UK. I still got to do my insanity exercise, so I'm committed to that. But it's recovery day on a Thursday, so it's not a hard one. So I shall speak to you soon. Big love. Take care.